Exactly. So you have laid out, and I'm gonna call you Ron.
Yes,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
appreciate you.
What you call structural cognitive behavioral training.
Yes.
This is like your racist rehab.
SCBT.
Yes.
And I just know that, like, I can't wait for the CRT guy to get a hold. Once he gets a hold of this, man.
Listen, I'm actually hopeful.
Oh, okay.
The folks, try to get a hold of it, because what it does is it creates more exposure.
Okay, so talk to me about like, and that's the training, right? That's the basis of undoing the white supremacist mindset.
Absolutely. And again, I want us to understand, most of us have been socialized into a white supremacist mindset.
Yeah. So when we're talking about white supremacy, we say that on the show all the time. We're not just talking about just white people.
Exactly.
Because black people of all colors and races perpetuate white supremacy.
Big time, right?
Yes.
And so, again, I think for me, what we've learned, through our research, again, taking into account that most of us have not had a real meaningful or structured education around this, is that a very clear method of growing is to give people structured engagement, structured resources, so they can build their capacity to understand the system and to create something new, right? And so structured cognitive behavioral training, if you're familiar with the concept of cognitive behavioral therapy, right? Cognitive behavioral therapy is one of the most evidence-based, most effective sort of interventions to address maladaptive behaviors in people, right? That is behaviors that people really don't find all that great, whether it's, you're trying to deal with depression or you're trying to deal with alcoholism, and realizing, okay, I got to really rebuild my mind and my behaviors towards the outcomes that I want, right? So SCBT is just an instructional derivative of that. That is, it's utilized not necessarily for therapy, but for training, which means you can reprogram your brain, you can reprogram your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions, right, to adopt the traits that you care about, right, to adopt dispositions, values, beliefs that you care about. And to the extent that this concept really is not that novel, right? Think about any time you went to school, or think about any sort of hobby that you really enjoy, that one of the things you do is you spend a lot of time learning about it to the point where that becomes intuitive. It becomes second nature, right? Whether you're a person, who's in music, and it becomes intuitive for you to understand how to navigate, a musical sort of composition, right? That the same applies with this concept, that we can all learn how to actually foster racial equity on a systemic level. It's actually a very learned skill, right? But it does take a structured approach, realizing we're dealing with systemic issues, which means we got to be able to think in systems, right? And when we think in systems, we think beyond the surface level, because that's the biggest challenge when we talk about addressing racism. People only address what's on the surface. They only respond to overt acts of racism, not realizing that our society is truly rooted in inequity from top to bottom. Right? They don't see the structures. They don't see the policies, the practices, the ideology that keeps everything in place.
Or they see them and they reinforce them because they benefit from them.